Good evening, everybody, and welcome to ILR Tier 2 Season 5 on the Xbox platform, this time for the Chinese Grand Prix Round 2 of this season. And joining me tonight will be Burnout or Ben. How is it going, Burnout?
I'm doing good, thank you, Dom.
Good, good. So, after Australia last week, we're in for Round 2 of the season, and Australia was an interesting race. Many twists and turns, and it was a good start to the season for Overkills in the end, who actually won the race and started the season off for McLaren in very good form indeed. But it was a kind of interesting race indeed in terms of conditions and things kind of changed in the race, and it was changeable, so it made it even more fascinating. But China, again, weather can be very similar, where it can be changeable, and we could have an absolute thriller on our hands. But Burnout, let's talk about China as a circuit. What are the sort of challenges around here for the drivers?
Well, it's quite a really for in terms of racing. It's really good for racing as we've seen in the past. Obviously, you have the tricky section of sector one of 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then obviously you've got the kind of faster flowing section in sector 2 of turn 7, 8, and 9. And then you come right back to the big straight, one of the longest straights on the calendar, which then goes into turn 14, like one of the biggest overtaking points of the track. You'll probably see a lot of dive bombs there for sure, especially in the opening laps. It's a great place for overtaking, and I'm sure we're going to have a really, really exciting race tonight.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, that long back straight is one of the longest on the calendar. So we'll have probably lots of overtaking going on into the hairpin as well. It's going to be, I think, quite fascinating. I mean, it depends what it's going to be. I mean, if it's a dry race, I expect us to have an absolute cracker. But evenly, when we have mixed conditions, it always puts on a good show. And we saw it last week. I mean, let's take, for example, LCR Mulder. He took pole position last week, and he looked set for race victory in the early stages. But when it changed, and when the weather changed and tyres changed in terms of strategy, it all went a little bit wrong, and he ended up losing the race by crashing out. But I'm sure this week he'll be one to watch in terms of getting that revenge back after last week's DNF, and he should be up there in terms of competing for the victory. And you got other people down there as well. I mean, the Alfa Romeo boys of SHZ, Dazzle and Midzi, obviously continuing on from their great partnership from last season. They had a good, strong start to the Australian Grand Prix by getting second and third together, and they're currently leading the Constructors' Championship as well. So they've had a dream start to the season. And I mean, obviously McLaren, obviously O'Kill's won last time out. His teammate Jamie finished fifth. So in general, those guys are looking to compete for the championship as well. So it is very tight, and I think Bacon Yum's another driver that we haven't mentioned as well. Torosso boys in general, both of them. Both Melder and the Bacon Yum, they're probably going to be right there in the fight too. So I think we've got a fascinating championship on our hands, and I think anything can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, with some of the potential title contenders missing out the first race, such as Mitra in particular, it's mixed up the championship a lot. Obviously, we saw Mulder making his mistake in Australia, and he's gonna hope he don't repeat that here tonight. And it's kind of showing how competitive ILR2 is. You can't afford to make those silly mistakes that obviously Mulder did in Australia, but I'm sure he's got it sorted. It's not really the easiest tracks to crash out, so he should be fine. But yeah, again, it just spices up the championship.
Exactly, mate. And we're in qualifying right now. Obviously, it's the stage of where people decide their grid positions, and we've got everybody out on circuit pretty much. We've got Overkills out there as well. We've got Maestro obviously returning. He didn't actually race in Australia, like you said. He's out there in the Ferrari. He's teamed with the Amazement. So the Amazement was actually another driver that actually went a little bit underrated in Australia. He had a good kind of good race, but it all went a little bit wrong at the end. But he has some stronger form too, so I do expect Ferrari to be right up there in the Constructors' Championship as well. But yeah, we've got quite a full grid today. We've got 20 drivers out there, so it's a full grid. I'm sure plenty of action. Midzi, obviously the 2 Alfa Romeo boys, watch out for them as well. I mean, Torosso boys, I mean, there's so many drivers that could win races this season, and particularly this race as well. So all to play for here, but everybody kind of starting their first initial laps. Midzi is one of them. Ben, would you like to talk us for a lap with Midzi?
Let me just find him. Here we go then. Go through turn 1. Very long rally. You've got to really just trust the car, not try and get it too wide, and then obviously in turn 2 and 3, getting good exit, and then short shifting for turn 4, and that's kind of a short sector. And as he comes into turn 6, getting the apex quite nicely, getting a good exit, coming into turn 7 and 8, very, very long corners. Yeah, again, just trying to go as quick as possible. Not quite flat through turn 7, but maybe that's just due to setup. Looking quite neat, but short shifting quite a lot. Maybe he's got a bit of oversteer issues in the car. And as he finished the second sector, coming through turn 13, and once again another long right-hander. Just really gotta let the car roll through the corner, and it's quite a tricky corner to get right. And he gets the DRS open, come down for turn 14. This is where everyone see a lot of overtakes for sure in the race, and he gets the 100-meter board spot on. Takes a bit more than the apex, kind of clips it a bit, but I'm pretty sure that is fine. Go through the final corner then, and hits the DRS board, and that will be a 132.4.
So, interesting lap there. He's on the medium tyre, so the hardest compound you can get around here. So, good start to his qualifying, gets a banker in there. But Jamie goes out there on a 32.5, and Overkills is a 33.2. So, everybody kind of getting a feel for the circuit. At this stage of the qualifying session in general, track conditions aren't at their best, so expect the track conditions to get better and better as the session progresses and people start switching on to the softer compounds towards the end of the session. So right now, people are just trying to get their eye in and just try and get in some early laps to get a feel for the track, and then they'll be cranking at the pace in the final sort of 10 minutes or so. They'll probably start really just ranking up the pace really. Down the order with Chris Jones as well. He's currently in 10th. He's on an out lap. Other people down there as well. We've got LCR Mulder, who was on pole last time out in Australia. He's looking to try and get back on the form. He's coming into the pit lane, so expect to see quite a lot from this Torosso driver. He's pretty exceptional as well, so we'll see what he can do. Josu out there currently on a lap as well. He's starting a lap here, so let's see what he can do in the Red Bull. So he's just going for the first couple of corners right now. The number 21 Red Bull driver had a pretty good season last season as well. I mean, he finished, I think it was 4th in the Drivers' Championship in the end. So he's looking to try and he's going to be one to watch as well in terms of consistency, because he was very consistent last season, as now Midzi improves again to a 32.0, and that's the second lap on those tyres. So expect again good lap time by him, but I'm sure we'll see the times tumble as now Overkills improves to a 30.2, and now Jamie goes to on a 32.0. So times are tumbling as they start to push their cars a little bit more. I mean, Ben, you mentioned Midzi's short shifting. Does that show that he's hiding a little bit of pace?
It could be, but I would more suspect it's due to stability issues. Maybe the car's just a little bit oversteery on exit, but it could actually be due to pace, you know. There could be a couple of attempts in that. But yeah, again, it's on the mediums. It's a bit, it's not quite representative of what they can do. So we'll have to wait till towards the end of qualifying.
Indeed we will, yeah, and now, I mean, we've not had not all the real set lap times. I mean, Chris hasn't set a lap time yet, but he's out there, so he's actually on a lap. Let's see how he goes towards the end and see what sort of lap time he can deliver. So last corner now, and he's to be good exit, and he's got an alright exit, so to the line he comes. It's going to be a 1 minute 32.425. That puts him into P5 for now, so not too bad, 4 tenths off the current pole time by Jamie on a 32.0, so that's a good banker for him. Mulder is out there. Actually, I just saw a Ferrari go for the... Actually, no, it's actually Dazzler who's through the actual gravel trap there. He's gone off after that long right-hander, the Haas driver, and he's very slow, so he made a little bit of a mistake on his lap. Who else is out there? Brumpson's out there as well. Bear in mind, Brumpson and Chris are both teammates again after last season. Brumpson didn't race in Australia, so he's again another one of those drivers that wants to get his season to a start here in China. So let's see what he can do. Now the Amazement is a 31.778 on the mediums in the Ferrari. So good lap time by him. He's currently on pole position by 0.3 of a second. So good lap by the Amazement. But right now, it's just people just trying to get in a good lap here. As now Brumpson goes through the long right hand here. Just needs to get a good exit. It's really important to not oversteer your way through here, because you need the cleanest exit as possible to set yourself up for this long back straight. And again, he's weaving, so I don't think it's going to be very much Brumpson's time. He's not taking it very seriously here, so he's probably not going to be up right there at all. So he's probably just getting settled in. Anti Beacon out there in the Renault, he shows some good ton of pace in Australia, so watch out for him. He'll be right up there in the fight as well. Now Chris is a 32.0, goes second place on the standings. Mulder out there, so let's go on board with Mulder. He's on the mediums. The final 10-minute session hits, so let's go on board with the Toro Rosso driver who took pole position last time out in Australia. He heads into turn 1. You want to turn it in just after the 50-meter board, and you want to be going down the gears as slowly as possible. Don't want to be too early, otherwise you lose the rear end. In second gear on the inside, and then the second corner now. Just want to be very careful on the throttle here, and he's got a decent exit, not much oversteer, and he's very all settled as now. Overkills on top of the 31.636. So Mulder completes the first sector, down into second gear for this corner here. Needs a good exit once again, and it's all about acceleration through these corners. And now the fast left right here. Gonna go flat out in 6th gear, holding it in 6th, and now into the right hander, down into 4th gear, turns it in, hugs the inside nicely, and then flicks it left for this double left hander. And now very patient on the throttle, and a little bit of oversteer there, so he's struggling a little bit with grip on the exit. But he gets through the second sector very well indeed. Down in second gear once again, and now through this long right hander, want to be balancing the throttle and being very careful on the power, squeezing it as much as you can, and then getting an alright exit. Now down this one straight, hits DRS down the straight, hitting speeds of over 200 miles per hour. He brakes at the 100 meter board, down into first gear, flicks it in nicely, and now up to second on the exit. A little bit of oversteer, but he keeps it all in check. Now the final corner, down into 4th gear, turns it in nicely, doesn't run it too wide, and across the line he comes for a 1 minute 31.899, and that puts him 3rd place at the moment, behind Overkills and the Amazement. So again, looking like there's a little bit more lap time in that for the Toro Rosso driver, and he hasn't exploited the absolute limits yet, so we'll soon see. Who else is up there? Midzi is out there on a lap right now. He's starting one, so we'll not ride on board with him. We've already done him already in the session. Who else, Daniel? We've got Maestro out there. He is on a lap. He's on the Ultra Soft, so he's going to be our first idea of what these tyres can actually do. So let's see what the Ferrari driver can do. Last year's champion, defending champion of the tier, and he comes into the pit lane. So again, not showing exactly what he's doing. Again, it's very much a trend of what he did last season, where he would often go on a set of the softer tyres and just try and get a feel for the track, see what the potential is, and then come back into the pit lane. So same sort of strategy again. Second wheel 93 in the Force India. What is he going to do for the final corner? He's a new name in the league. Comes across the line for a 1 minute 31.849 on the mediums. That's quite a good lap by him, actually. That puts him to P3 ahead of LCR Mulder. So good lap, but times are starting to tumble. As it just gets a little bit interesting in the session. 7 minutes to go, and it's all to play for. Ben, what are you making of this qualified session so far?
Yeah, Will there, quite impressive there. Obviously, the front guys, I think Overkills did his lap on the mediums. I'm not sure about Amazing, I'm pretty sure he did as well. So, he's up there with everyone, so impressive to see. But if you look at the time, it's very, very close between everyone. I mean, I think it's the top 10 covered by, second, if that. Very, very close field here. But it could spread out towards the end. We've got some split strategies going on here. We've got some people on the mediums, some people on the softs. I don't think we'll see anyone start on the ultra softs, but I could be wrong. But I don't think we will. I think it'll be the softs will be the qualifier for today.
Exactly, mate, and looking like everybody's in the pit lane, probably going to be putting on their fast set of tyres for the final part of the session. I mean, the Bacon Yum and Dazzle are both going out there now, so they might be able to get another run after their quality laps, but I'm pretty sure that'll be their only kind of run here. So Dazzle's out there right now, and so is the Bacon Yum. He is going to be the first of the guys. He's on the medium still as well, so he's looking to improve on his current P8, and you mentioned about times. I mean, yeah, second separates from first down to 12th. It's a second, isn't it? So it's so tight. But again, you expect to see that. I mean, this tier has been always this tight, and it's continuing on this season. It's just the little margins of error, and the little margins make the biggest difference. So the Bacon Yum, he is going on to a lap right now through the final corner. He's a good lap here, and he's got a good turn pace as well. So let's go on board with the Toros driver. Into turn 1 he goes. From turns in just after the mirror down into 5th gear, slowly down the gears, being very careful not to go down too quickly, and turns in a little bit of oversteer there, so a little bit unsettled on the curb on the inside. But gets a good run through turn 2 and it's not all dramatic at all. Now brakes at the 100 meter ball down into 2nd gear, turns it in once again, needs a good exit, he's got the good exit. Actually no he doesn't, he got lots of oversteer. Now into the fast left-hander, and then down into this. And he's really wide there, so he's obviously struggling a little bit with the front end on the car, and he's just full of oversteer. He's really struggling for grip on those mediums, so he's not looking very comfortable, and I don't think there's going to be much of an improvement by the Toros driver here. It's been not a great lap. Let's see where he is, 24.573 in the middle sector. It's not looking the greatest of laps here for him. And he's very wide as well. He's almost over driving the car there, Ben, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think he'll do a lap on. Well, he's backed off. I think that was just always going to be a little bit of a practice run. And then he was going to go back in pits, go on the soft, I believe. So yeah, I don't think he was ever going to finish the lap, but I could have been absolutely wrong.
Yeah, you've mentioned softs. I mean, you've got people like Kaiser, he's on the soft, Flying Rozzie's on the soft. Maestro's now out there on a soft tyre, so everybody's starting to come out in the final sort of 4 minutes or so. So the track's getting really busy, and with the amount of drivers we've got out there, traffic might be a problem. So it's going to be about just trying to get into as much free space as possible. Both Ferrari boys are out there together, so don't know if there's any inter-team play there. Probably not at this early stage of the season. We don't expect to see anything like that at all. But these two are going to be looking up the order and trying to get as high up as possible. Specifically Maestro, he wants to start off his season here, because his season starts here after missing out in Australia, and same with Brumson as well. Two drivers that didn't start in Australia, their season start here in China, and they need to get pretty much up there to kick off their campaigns. But yeah, we'll see what we can do. Let me just choose the drivers that actually run on board for their quali laps. I mean, Overkill is out there on that lap too, so everybody is out there. The Amazement, I think a guide to watch probably will be, let's go on board with, we'll just go on board with Maestro again. So he's trying to get some space compared to his teammate, the Amazement. He's just biding his time. He needs to go any moment now. So he's got a good gap. He lets Catherine through as well. Catherine is out there currently in 18th place, so she will be looking to improve too. So here comes Maestro now for the final corner, as now Dazzle gets disqualified from the session, blocking the pit lane. Now I wonder what that's about, because I've not seen what's happened there to him. But through turn 1, and cars are off here, Ben. What is going on?
Was it the entry? Was it the exit?
All on the exit. It was Chris, the Toro Rosso of Mulder. Everybody was off the track, so this is really interesting Maestro's lap here, because it's not been ideal. But the cars were off out of turn 1, which is very interesting. We'll probably see what happened after the actual race. But Maestro, his lap's being a little bit compromised here, so it's not ideal. And he's lifting off through the fast left-hander. I'm wondering if he's backed off on this lap. They're going to go again. Because, yeah, he's not using the charge on the ERS, so he's definitely backed off here. We have to go again, which is not ideal in terms of trying to set a good lap, because his tyres will be one lap older than everybody else's.
Yeah,
that is not ideal at all.
This is not really the track where you want to be doing more laps than what you need to. This track is so harsh on the tyre wear, like, you don't want to be doing that. So, really unfortunate for Maestro, but you gotta do what you gotta do at the end of the day.
Yeah. Now Overkill's though, current pole sister right now, he is on the soft tyres, so he'll be going again. A lot of people are improving. Josu is one of them. He did a 31.708 and Flying Rossi did a 31.732. So those two did improve in their soft tyre runs. Now, what can Overkill's do in McLaren? He's currently on pole. He's gone very wide out that double left-hander, so that's compromised a little bit, lost him a little bit of time. His motor he's not great here, but it's going to be potentially an improvement. Go through the fast right-hander, or the long right-hander, sorry, onto this long back straight. And he really needs this to be a pretty good lap here, because he's got to have competition from behind. People like Mulder, people like Midsey, people like Jamie, people like Bacon Yum, Antiv Beacon and Brumson, and I mean Maestro might have another shot at it, but it's all to play for. Catherine now has retired from the session. She's down in 18th place, which is not ideal for her. Overkill's now through the final corner. Let's see what it's going to be from the McLaren driver. Here he comes to the line. What is it going to be? A 1 minute 30.739. It consolidates his pole position by a long way. He's got a second margin over Josu. So great lap by him, but I'm sure there's a little bit more time in it. What about the Amazement? What is he going up to? He's through the fast left-hander. As now Maestro retires from the session, he's down in 17th place. So that is really unfortunate, and obviously that getting held up on his fast laps really affected him here. But Maestro, he's currently in 5th. Well, the Amazement. He's currently in 5th place right now. What can he do on those soft tyres? Anti-Beacon goes in 2nd place on his 1.0, so he's not enough for pole. Mizzy does a 30.8, so he's in 2nd place. The Amazement, what is he going to do? It's going to be a 30.823. It is 2nd place for the Ferrari driver, and it's just off pole position. So it's all very tight in that top 3. Anybody else? Mulder, what can he do? Through the final corner for the Toro Rosso driver, down into 4th gear. What can he do? To the line, it's a long track to the line. It's a 30.6, and it is pole position for the Toro Rosso driver. He steals it away from Overkill's by a 1/10 of a second in the end, even under a 1/10 of a second. Great lap by him. St. Will goes into 3rd place in the racing point, and he was in 3rd place. But in the end, I think that is all it. Chris Baker-Jones, what can he do? Through the line, it's only 14th position, and Minty's into the pit lane. But that is your qualified session all over and done with. And those final 3 minutes, Ben, they were absolutely dramatic with changes everywhere.
Yeah, one of the key things as well, Maestro actually going off at turn 1. I'm not quite sure what happened. All I saw was that he was just in the gravel. So he's starting in 17th place, and that's really not where he wants to be starting. Thankfully, it's a track where he can do a lot of overtaking, so he's not. It's not all finished for him, but he's a long way away from the top 3. I mean, what a great qualifying from him. I mean, only a 10th from pole position. I mean, great job from him.
Exactly, man. And the battle continues between Overkills and Mulder here. Both of them on the front row together. And it's kind of like a repeat of Australia all over again. But Ben, I'll let you take through the qualifying classification, and then we'll get on to the race start.
There we are then. Mulder taking pole position here in China with Overkills right behind him in 2nd place. ST Will in 3rd place. Great debut for the Force India driver. Amazement in 4th in the Ferrari. Midzi in 5th place. And then we have Anti-Beacon in 6th, Jamie in 7th, Jackster in 8th, Bacon Yum in 9th, Josu in 10th, Blumson in the other Mercedes in 11th, Ginger Ninja in 12th, Flying Rossi 13th, Chris in 14th, Kaisi in 15th, Dazzler in 16th, Maestro in 17th, and then it just went on, mate. Sick.
Lovely. It's a lot of good drivers doing it. 20 of them together. I mean, it's hard to get through all of them. But yeah, Cowley start for us here for the race, and we'll be going through the formation lap, and everybody will just trying to keep out of trouble and get to the grid, and we'll be able to get this race all over and started with. People outside top 10, they will have free tyre choice, so we could have some interesting strategies from people from 11th downwards. So we could have some people, I mean, Maestro can be one of those drivers. He starts low down on the grid. He could probably be on the alternative strategy. So he's got strategy in his hands, and he could use that strategy and get through the field with it. So it's not all over for Maestro. It isn't obviously ideal, but he's in a position where he can choose the tyre choice and the people ahead of him can't, so it's all to play for here. But formation lap is a go, and everybody will be getting off the line. Let's see what sort of tyres people are on. So let's put some tyre data, and everyone's on softs. So outside of top 10, you know, everyone's on soft apart from Dazzle, who's in 20th position on the medium, so he's the only one going for the different strategy. But remember, bear in mind, people outside top 10 will have fresh tyres by a lap or so. So this is going to be interesting, I think, Ben. I mean, who's to watch here in the race?
I think it's certainly. I think it'd be good to see Mulder go off, actually. Interesting, and also Overkill's. I'm not sure what happened there. Overkill's actually spinning. Whereas I've just lost my train of thought. Yeah, obviously it'd be good to see Maestro go up the field. He's starting in 17th place. I'm sure he will be very much the one to watch. But also, I really would love to see what Will does. He's starting third place. I would really love to see him go from the third place to first. But also there's other people around him. Obviously the likes of Josu, always a great person to watch. Obviously we have Bacon Yum as well, and the Amazement also doing a good job in qualifying. It should be a really fun race. And also the weather looks a bit cloudy. I would not be surprised if it rains, and also the Force India going off. Trying too hard there. But yeah, I think the weather will take big effect.
Indeed, mate. So here we go. Everybody coming up to form up for the grid. And we're about to get round 2 of this fascinating season underway here at China. Australia was a thriller. Here we're aiming for another one of those, and it could be anybody's win here. The grid is highly competitive, as we saw in qualifying, so it's anybody's pick really, and it's all about that start, getting through the first lap cleanly, and then from there your race is hooked and it's all to play for. So everybody lining up for round 2 of the season, and here we go. Preparing to rev up for 5 red lights here in China. So here we go, revving up for 5 red lights here for the Chinese Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go for the Chinese Grand Prix. Mulder gets a decent start ahead of Overkill's. Overkill's has got a bit of a bob down start as the force is going around the left-hand side of him. But it's going to be Mulder who leads into turn 1 and St. Will into P2. The Amazement into P3, and Overkill's is down into P4 currently, battling away with Amazement. So it's all pretty tight up the order. Down the order, we've got actually Midzi in 5th place. He's actually had a pretty okay start. And then we've got behind, we've got the Andrew Beacon, the Jackster, the Bacon Yum, all scribbling away. And now the Renaults are going, as the Bacon Yum goes around the outside of the 2 Renaults. Can he go around the outside? He has gone around the outside, and the Bacon Yum is into 7th place. What a cracking move on the opening start of the race for the Bacon Yum. He's in 7th place, but right now as it currently stands is it's Mulder who leads the way from St. Will, the Amazement, Overkills, Midzi, Jamie, and the Bacon Yum. So cracking start as everybody behind. Anti-Beacon and the Jackster are all squabbling over each other at the moment, but it's all very tight as the Renault gets a little bit oversteering on the exit, and it's actually going to be Bromson who looks to the inside, and he has got that move done, and there's a little bit of contact, some debris on the offside as well. I don't know who part of that front wing is. But now the Red Bull is on the inside of Kaiser. Let's go on board with this because it's all very tight indeed. Actually, no, it's Josu who's actually got in front. So it's Josu battling away with the Jackster and the Bromson. Let's go with on board camera here. Is Bromson's in the slipstream of Josu here heading into the right-hander, the actual hairpin. Who's it going to be? It's Jackster on the inside of Josu, and he's going to try on the inside. And he's on the outside, Jossie, but Jackson's got that move done, and he's still into 9th place, so he keeps hold of position for now. But it all got a little bit dirty behind people off the circuit. I think that was, who was it? The other Mercedes of Chris Packer-Jones. He's on the inside of the Williams here, of the Flying Rossi, and the inside, and he's got up the inside, and he's trying to get them inside of his own teammate. Does he go on the inside? He does go on the inside of his own teammate, and he gets that one done, and Brunson goes very wide out of the first couple of corners, and he's down there. But let's turn our attentions back to the top of the order. Mulder leads the way by 8th of a second from St. Will in 2nd place. And Amazement in 3rd place, doing a superb job in the Ferrari. Had a pretty good launch and gets ahead of Overkill, so hasn't had the ideal start to continue on from his form from Australia. He's not been ideal there. So Mulder looking to make up from what happened in Australia, and he's doing a good job at the moment. Mizzy in 5th place, solid stuff from him, a good start, and Jamie in 6th. And Bacon Yum in 7th, and it'll be Andrew Beacon and, of course, Jackster and Josu in 10th place, as everybody's off the circuit at the back of the field there. Look at them all. They're all just kind of going wide a little bit here. It's all very action-packed behind between the Flying Rossi and Ginger Ninja and everybody there. I mean, look at that. It's all very tight. Ginger Ninja on the inside of the Flying Rossi here. He's looking to the inside. He's got on the inside. And look at that. Flying Rossi is really wide. It's the Ginger Ninja wants his opportunity on the Williams driver. He's in the slipstream, but no DRS at the moment. We'll have to wait for lap 3 for that DRS. But nothing as of yet. Bromson's slipstreaming, giving slipstream to Rossi, as now Ginger Ninja goes on the inside. He's got the inside done, but remember, the Flying Rossi on the left-hand side will get a better line, as now Overkill's the fast up the race. Flying Rossi can't get it done, and Ginger Ninja goes around the outside and gets that move very much done. But Ben, one person we haven't mentioned is F1 Maestro. He's down in 20th place, a long way back. What's happened to him on the start?
I don't know, I actually didn't catch it, but I'm guessing he's got caught up in an incident. Obviously, he's starting 17th place, not really where you want to be starting. Don't look like he has any damage from the looks of it. I can't really see. But I think he might have made a mistake as well. But yeah, he's still on the same tyres, so I think. But yeah, I'm really not sure what happened there.
It's really unfortunate for him, who he obviously wants to kickstart his season, and this is the worst case scenario for him, not getting the start that he'd wanted, and he's down in the order. He's made his stop already and have to make another stop. So as of now, he's looking. I mean, it's going to be very tricky for him. It's going to be a tricky afternoon and tricky evening for him to gain any points at all. But Mulder's doing a solid job up front. He's keeping that gap. It's still under a second. So bear in mind, ST Will might have an opportunity in the DRS zone, though, but he's quite a far way back. And the Amazement doing a solid job in 3rd place. And you've obviously got Overkills, who is behind the Amazement. He's closer to the Amazement than anybody else, but at the moment they're all in each other's slipstream and all in each other's DRS, really. So making a move is probably isn't looking that likely. But right now, let's go on board with Overkill right now, who's behind the Amazement. But they're all very close together here. And in terms of pace, I mean, look at that. I mean, we've even got Mizzy there in 5th place. He's only slightly behind too. So that top 5 is very close. And they continue to hold each other up. I mean, Jamie, who's in 6th, he might be able to get in on the action too, and the Bacon Yum as well. At the moment, look at that. Amazement is right behind Will here, so he's under massive pressure as Will here. Amazement goes to the left-hand side, going to try and outbrake the Force India. Goes around the outside. They make a little bit of contact there, so the Amazement is hung up to dry on the left-hand side, and he hasn't got that move done. But it's a three-way scrap for that 2nd place, as Mulder is starting to get away a little bit from these three. But once again, the Amazement is going to try and make any move possible here through the double left-hander here. He's just concentrating on a good exit here, because right now, St. Will is very vulnerable, and at the moment, Mulder is blitzing away and might be out of DRS. Actually, he won't be. I mean, St. Will just be in DRS activation, probably. Amazement doesn't get the best of exits through that long right-hander. ST will get a DRS from Mulder up front. But once again, the Amazement hits DRS here. He's in the slipstream of Will. And actually, no, Will did not get DRS in the end. So he is closing back up to that Force India driver. Into the hairpin we go. Down into first gear. Turns it in nicely. It's an alright exit. But right now, and the gap between Mulder and Will is 1 second at the moment. Amazement gets through the last corner. He's a good exit. He's got an alright exit here. So again, he'll gain big time in the slipstream and the DRS. But into turn 1 really isn't an overtaking opportunity. Only if the car ahead goes really wide, and he hasn't done so. So the Amazement will have to wait a few more corners to have an opportunity. And he needs to get a good exit through that long right-hander to have any chance down that straight. He closes big time up through turn 2. It's actually turn 3. But once again, in the slipstream, once again, he's going to have a good opportunity. He goes to the inside this time instead of the outside. Going to outbrake the Force India on the inside. And he's got that move done just about. But can the Force India cut back? He can't cut back. And the Amazement is into second place ahead of ST Will. And that's a fantastic move by the Ferrari driver.
Yeah, and one thing to watch is Overkill's kind of just in the background there. He's waiting to pounce on both of them. So, I think Mason might want to take advantage of it and get away as soon as possible, because if he doesn't get away, of course, it's going to have him.
Exactly, mate, and look at him, he's all over the back of that Force India, so it is all playful. But remember, bear in mind, the Force India will have the DRS on the Amazement, so it's not as easy as it seems. But look how close Overkill's is, and so look at how close that Force India is to the Amazement. Let's go on board with Overkill's. He's looking behind St. Will, who's looking for the inside. He goes to the inside. He does go for the inside. Does Will on the inside of the Ferrari driver. And look at that. Oh, he's being pushed off a little bit by him, but the Amazement keeps it all okay. He's now down in third place, but look at this. I mean, Will get the DRS. Actually, no, it'll be the Amazement gets the DRS on Will. So once again, going into turn 1 once again, the Amazement will close back up once again, but it's not enough as Overkills is right all over the rear end of the Ferrari driver as we go through turn 1. And Overkills looks to the inside of the Ferrari driver. He goes on the inside, and the Amazement will be on the inside for the second part. And look, can Overkills go around the outside of the Ferrari driver? He can't go around the outside, but he can get an okay exit here. He gets an alright exit here. Here comes Overkills to the inside. Does he go to the inside? No, he can't. And the Amazement parks his car in the right positions, and he keeps hold of that P3. What a great defense by the Ferrari driver. But now the Overkills goes through the fast left-hander. He needs to get the move done. He does look faster than these two in front. So really, at the moment, Mulder has been able to sprint away after these two are squabbling away. And the Amazement goes a little bit deep through those double left-handers. So he is vulnerable here. Once again, can't make a move here. He needs to set himself up through that long right-hander if possible. And he can go a little bit deeper. The McLaren driver goes a little bit deeper through there and get a better exit through the long left-hander. So here he goes now in the slipstream using the DRS as well. He'll have DRS on the Ferrari driver as we go down the straight. But look at that behind as well. Bear in mind, Midsley's there. 4 tenths behind too as these guys are swapping away. So Overkills in the slipstream of the Amazement, but once again can't make anything of it. He's just too far back here. As look at that, look how close Mizzy is to he gets close in the braking zone. But once again, Overkill closes up into the final couple of corners now. So last corner for Overkills, but he's too far back from the Amazement. But the Amazement is really close to the wheel here as he goes to the inside. He goes on the inside of turn 1. He understeers a little bit. He's gone very deep indeed. Has he kept position? What about on wheel? Actually, no, Overkills is following him through. And he has got the move done, so Overkills is into third place ahead of Will. So great move there by the McLaren driver. He's going to try and crack on with it here. So behind, Mizzy also will be looking for his opportunity, but he's too far back. But let's go back to Overkills and the Amazement. The gap between the top two, it is 2 seconds, or 1.8 seconds. So the gap is really stretching out here. But Overkills will be looking for an opportunity on the Amazement to try and pursue Mulder in the rest of the race. So 21 more laps to go. This race has been absolutely fascinating. That DRS and that back straight hasn't been as effective as we all thought, as Overkills gets a little bit of oversteer through the double left-handers. But it needs a good opportunity here, and he has got the opportunity. He had the DRS down this back straight, and he has got away a little bit from Will. And he's gone a little bit on the cover on the left-hand side, but he'll have the slipstream, he'll have the DRS, and he'll have a little bit of the battery to use as well. So he is closing up on the Ferrari driver. He's closing and closing and closing and closing as we head into the braking zone, but he's just too far back to make any sort of move and any sort of logical move. So he'll have to focus on trying to get a good exit through the last corner as we go into turn 1. He might have an opportunity to get a good exit. So through the final corner here, yellow flags out as Brumson's retired. That's really unfortunate. Not the way that he wants to start his first race of the season properly. Maestro, obviously, both of them not getting the starts of the season they want, but once again, Overkill's closes up in the DRS, but not close enough to the Amazement, as the Amazement takes the racing line through through the first corners, and he's all okay, but he goes a little bit deeper off this corner here, so the Overkills might get the better exit, which he does get an okay exit here. He didn't be in the slipstream, and he'd be using a bit of the battery, but he's not close enough to make any sort of move, is he? No, he's not. So the Amazement keeps hold of second place for now. He's gone a little bit deep there, so he's struggling. So Overkills needs to seize his opportunity. But look behind, Midzi as well is closed up, and Jamie's right in the battle too. So these top 6 are right in it. But the surprise for me is Bacon Yum. He's not been able to close up at all to these top 6 and make any inroads whatsoever. So that's really surprising. But coming back to these two, it's all very close here. Overkills is right there, much closer to the Amazement than he was this time a lap ago. So this is his prime opportunity to get a move done on him. The current championship leader after winning Australia needs to get this one done. But look at that, they're closing up on Mulder ahead of them. He's 1.6 in front, so the gap has closed down. But here comes Overkills in the slipstream and the DRS on the Ferrari driver. Here he comes, he's slipstreaming him. He's closing up, and to the inside he goes. Is he going to get his move done? He's going to get it done, he's going to be on the brakes. And the Ferrari driver goes around the outside and will have the better exit in the end. And the Amazement does get the better exit, and he will get the move done, and he'll be on the inside, but Overkills will cut back on him here. He'll have the slipstream and the DRS once again. It's going to be a move, surely. He's going to go around the outside, is he? Into turn 1. Does he get this move done? He goes round the outside. He's going to go round the outside. It's wheel to wheel with both of them, and it's not going to be done, is it? Goes around the outside, continues around the outside on the inside of this corner, and he's going to be so tight. The Amazement will get a good exit though. In comparison, he gets a better exit, but Overkills will be side by side into the next corner. The Amazement parks the car well, and once again, great defense by the Ferrari driver, and Overkills hasn't got the move done. Fantastic racing, thorough respect from these two, and doing a fantastic job. What a great race so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both drivers racing for their lives, it seems. You know, it's only round 2, and it seems like they're trying to defend a championship here. And, you know, Amazement putting his car in the right place each time. I mean, got a great exit on that hairpin last lap, and obviously Overkill's getting the DRS once again. He's close. I think he's a little bit closer than he was last time. He's getting the slipstream much earlier. He's got the DRS open. It should be an easy pass going into turn 14. And he's got the job done. That is him up into second place, finally.
Yeah, finally, and that battle has cost him a lot of time to Mulder. He's now 2 seconds in front, but the gap's kind of stabilised a little bit recently. One guy to mention is ST Will. He's down to 8th, so he's lost positions. We didn't see what happened there with him, and Jamie made a move on Midzi, so all that's a little bit interesting. We didn't catch that as these two were battling away, but bear in mind, as we've been speaking, the Amazement is into the pit lane. He'll be looking to get the undercut on Overkill, so this battle for second place isn't over as of yet. But right now Overkill needs a good outlap, well, good in-lap here, and they need to get into the pit lane and try and hope that he's in front of the Amazement when he comes back out again. But Mulder currently leads your race, but the gap is slightly come down a little bit. It's stabilised, but it's coming down a little bit as we've got yellows in sector 1 and sector 2, so there's still problems. Kaiser obviously has retired, we didn't mention that. But Mulder leads your race from behind. Bacon Yum is battling away with Jamie and Mizzy. Mizzy actually got the move back done on Jamie here. So there's still a battle going on between this 3 actually, indeed. So the Bacon Yum has finally caught back up and caught up to these guys. But Jamie is battling with Mizzy, and Mizzy has got back in front of him. So let's see how things all set out here. So these 3, all to play for, and this is probably going to be for the for 4th place at the moment. But it could turn out to be the final podium position. So let's see what he can do. Jamie is going to be in the slipstream of Midzi, but he's a bit far back here. But he'll close up in the DRS. But I'm sure these boys will be looking to come in probably for their pit stops. Bacon Yum is also in the slipstream, but won't be making any sort of move. Or is he going to make a move? He goes very late on the brakes. He goes on the inside of Jamie, and he doesn't get the move done. But I was almost Verstappen-esque. But no, both Jamie and Bacon Yum continue for another lap as Mizzy comes into the pit lane to serve his stop. So yeah, interesting stuff from the Bacon Yum. He's looking very aggressive and looking for any opportunity to get past Jamie here. Once again, Mulder stays out for another lap, and so does Overkill. So it looks like these two are going to have a lot more fresh tyres by the end of the race. But look at this, Overkill is looking to be a bit more healthy on his tyres, and I think we saw this in Australia a little bit. Mulder seemed to work his tyres a little bit harder than the McLaren driver, and we saw Overkill stay out the extra lap. I think it was actually the stayed out. No, actually, it was actually Mulder pitted out early, and it looked like Overkill was better when he actually did the overcut on him. So looking like Mulder's a little bit vulnerable here, under a second the gap. Mulder is struggling on his tyres, so it is all close here. These two probably be looking to pit, and I'm pretty sure Overkills will just follow what Mulder does in terms of pit strategy.
Yeah, they've got to be careful.
The gap
though,
is under a second.
because the gap in the pit lane is like 23 seconds, I believe. And the gap between Mulder and Amazement is only 24.3 seconds. But Overkill's looking a lot quicker than Mulder. He's actually taken a second out from last lap. But yeah, I think, like he said, I think the Toro Rosso driver is struggling much more in his tyres than Overkill's. But we'll see how it plays. But I think they are going to have to pit in the next couple of laps, as they do.
Yeah, big. Yep, and there's the Bacon Yum and Jimmy come in. Bacon Yum comes in, but Jimmy stays out again for another lap, and I'm pretty sure there's a reason for that is because obviously his own teammates pitted, so he's potentially going to be really struggling on those soft tyres. I mean, he's done 12 laps on them, so he's going to be struggling. But let's see in terms of everybody else. I mean, we've got to look out for who's going to get the undercut. Who does get the undercut? As little look down the old Amazement. Has he got the undercut he needs? He pitted early, he's just fast up in the race. So let's see where he comes out in comparison. Where is he? Is he in front of Overkills? He is in front of Overkills. And he's just behind Mulder, but not far behind. But actually Overkills has lost a lot of time in the pit lane. It looks like he's probably been held up a little bit by his crew chiefs there. So unfortunately, it's not planned out the way Overkills wanted to. And he's been a lot more closer to the Amazement than that. So that's not played out at all the way he'd want to, and Mizzy is behind them. But at the moment, Dazzle is in second place. He's 11 laps on the mediums. He'll be going a lot longer. So bear in mind, he won't be pitting as of lap. I'm sure he'll probably pit around lap 16, I predict. 15, 16 area. More than likely lap 16 on those mediums, and he'll be going on the softs to the end. So he's in the different strategy. So he's just playing what he can do for now. He's 10 seconds away from Jamie. Jamie, does he pit in? He'll have to pit in this lap surely, because everybody else will have. Everybody else will have had the benefit of the undercut. So, and those softs will be probably absolutely gone. And he's sliding on those soft tyres. So he's got to come in here. Here he comes into the pits, and let's see where he comes out in comparison. But right now, Mulder is battling away with the Amazement here, as the Amazement goes around the outside of the Toro Rosso driver. Going to try and cut back on him. It's the battle for the net lead of the race. The Amazement's absolutely going for it here. He's going on the right-hand side of the final corner. Going to try and cut back on him. He will get the cut back. He's got a good cut back here. Here he comes in the slipstream and the DRS. Goes to the left-hand side. Can he get this move done? He goes to the left-hand side, goes around the outside, and it's wheel to wheel between the two of them. The Amazement on the left-hand, on the very, very left-hand side into these couple of corners, and on the inside of this, in this part, he's going to try and barge him out a little bit, try and get the better exit. The Toro Rosso driver will have the, well, should have the better exit, but doesn't. And in the end, the Amazement takes a little race, but does he? Mulder's trying to go to the inside, he cuts to the inside, and he's got that move done, but the Amazement goes around the outside and gets a superior exit, and it looks like the Ferrari driver has got the move done on the Toro Rosso driver. A fantastic set of racing, but the Toro Rosso driver won't give up. As of yet, it'll be on the inside of the left part of these fast corners, and they're still wheel to wheel. They're going wheel to wheel for every single corner seemingly, and look at this, Toro Rosso driver once again back on the Ferrari driver. Looks to be inside but can't make the move, stick to wait for that DRS, and it continues. Great racing, fair, respectful, and this is what we like to see in this tier. But the Amazement is not the best of exits through this long right hand. They go on the cover on the left hand side. Mulder will have the DRS and the slipstream and everything to his advantage. So down this long straight, look at that behind, Overkill's in this battle as well. So it's going to be a three-way battle for the net lead. Here comes Mulder in the slipstream, goes to the very inside. He's got that move. Has he got the move done? He might not. It's the Ferrari driver on the left hand side might get the better exit. He does get the better exit. He's nearly three wide, but it's not three wide in the end. It's the Amazement on the inside. A little bit of contact between the two of them. Mulder's forced off wide, and Amazement keeps hold of it. Look at it, all three of them are going together. Look at the overkills on the left-hand side. He's looking around the outside. Can he get the move done? He turns it too early, and he hit himself off. He's gone off the circuit, and he might yield to Midzi here as well. Midzi's going to be at the inside. Overkill's on the inside here for the left part. He needs to keep hold of third place if he wants to win this race, and he does keep hold of it for now. But looking at this, the Amazement's under pressure from Mulder. Mulder goes to the inside once again, and he goes on the inside on the attack, but the Ferrari driver goes around the outside, gets a superior traction, and he keeps hold of the race lead. What a fascinating battle for the race lead in general. Ben, that was absolutely thrilling.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. It's just the absolute example of clean, fair, exceptional racing from all drivers, for all three of them. Unfortunately, Overkill's made that mistake into turn one. Didn't quite expect Amazement to turn so late. As you see,
yeah, this Amazement's made a mistake.
Yeah, the battle's still carrying on. I mean, the side by side through the whole lap. It's amazing to see, and we're going to see three wide here into the hairpin. Who's going to come out on top? I think it'll be Mulder. He gets good exit. Might not be.
They've all slowed it up there because the three of them couldn't go through that last corner together, and they've had to slow each other down a little bit there. But again, Overkill on the attack. He's right there on the Amazement. The Amazement looking to lost a little bit of momentum that he was on. It was very deep before that long right-hander, and that really compromised him big time. So he's struggling a little bit. But Mulder's back into the net lead for now. But Dazzle, they're closing up on Dazzle, but Dazzle will probably be pitting in the next sort of couple of laps or so. But it's all settled back down a little bit, but it's still going to be going on for these three. It's going to be Mulder, Amazement, Overkills, and Midzi all going for it by the end of the race. They're all so close together, and they're so close on pace as well. It is anyone's race here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, unfortunately, Overkills didn't take advantage of them two battling, because now look at Mulder is absolutely left him for dead. I think Overkills is kind of missed his opportunity there. He knows he's better on tyres than Mulder, and kind of missed the opportunity there. But I'm sure he'll be able to get him in the late stages of the race.
Definitely, mate. Overkill's closing up on the Amazement, but the Amazement gets DRS on Mulder. So these guys are all sort of concertining up a little bit in the DRS. But Overkill's been looking for a good exit through the final corner, which he does need to get. He gets a good exit, and he's in the slipstream, but it's not enough to close upon the Amazement, who gets an alright exit on Mulder, but he's just too far back to make any sort of moves. So Mulder is looking to break that DRS. Overkill has to react quickly here. He has to get a move done as soon as possible. I mean, he's luckily not lost out too much because he only lost a position in the end. But it's not ideal, obviously. He really put a little bit more wear on his tyres. But again, he's not close enough to the Amazement to make any sort of move. But he knows where the Amazement's a little bit vulnerable. And it is in that middle sector where the Amazement seems to struggle a little bit on getting in, particularly for that long right-hander. Before that long straight, but again, Mulder looking a little bit vulnerable as well to the Amazement. So this battle for the lead isn't over at all. The Amazement's right in this battle, and Mulder hasn't sprinted away the way he'd probably wanted to here. So it's still on for the Amazement. Mulder hasn't sprinted away, and this is going to be an absolute thrilling battle for the final 12 laps of this race. I expect to see an absolute crack here. The Amazement through the long right-hander here gets an alright exit. But so does Overkill's behind, so anyone's game in the DRS. All going to close upon each other here. But again, everybody's too far back to make any sort of impression, as Overkill goes very deep on the brakes there, and it might give Midzi an opportunity, but no, it doesn't in the end. So Overkill misses up his braking zone there, probably got caught up by the closing speed. But look at this, Amazement's closed up to Mulder once again in the slipstream and the DRS, but it won't be enough, as the Amazement is the fastest lap of the race at 34.385. but it won't be enough to close up on the Toro Rosso driver in turn 1, so nothing as of yet. But look at that, Mulder now retakes the lead of the Grand Prix after Dazzle's pitted for a set of softs. Maybe he's on the alternate strategy, bear in mind. But someone to mention as well, Chris Jones has got the undercut on people. He's in 7th place ahead of Bacon Yum. Will is done in 6th, and Jexter's in 5th. So Jexter, one of those low-key drives, he's done a superb job for the Renault team. Great stuff by him. Andy Beacon down in 13th place for Renault. But looking like could be a double points finish here. Dazzle actually in 9th place on the will be actually 9th place on the softs. He's not a good opportunity. He's 8 seconds back from the Bacon Yum, but he'll be closing up rapidly in the final few laps. He'll have fresher tyres and the softer compound, so I expect him to potentially close that back up again towards the end of the race and being contentious for some even better points. So looking like a good day in the office for Toro Rosso. Ferrari not so much. Maestro in 15th, after the Amazement in 2nd. But McLaren looking to have a good day, kind of, but Jimmy's done in 16th for some reason, so I don't know what happened to Jamie there. But look at this, Overkill's right behind the Amazement here. He's closer to the Amazement than the Amazement is to Mulder, but it's probably not an opportunity. Look at that, look at Mizzy behind, he's looking for an opportunity as well. So it's all very close as we go through that tight right-hander. But once again, it's close. Mulder is under pressure from the Amazement. Because gets a good exit for the last corner and is in the slipstream and the DRS of the Ferrari driver. He just can't close up enough in turn 1, probably not, as the Amazement's got the DRS in front of him. So at the moment is a painful overkills because he can't get it done because the Amazement's got DRS on Mulder. But fair play to the Amazement, he's keeping in DRS of the race leader, and he's keeping himself very handy for the end of the race. So watch out for all these four are going for it at the end of the race. These are our main battle in terms of the race win. So it's all still very close, and it's been a clean race so far from all of these boys. Overkills, this is a little bit of ground to the Amazement. So the Amazement looking very strong here. Indeed. Once again, needs a good exit for these double left-handers, which he has got. And he's in the slipstream, but he's sort of 6 seconds back, but he's concentrating on getting a good exit through the long right-hander, which is where he'll make up the time. Once again, Mulder just isn't breaking that DRS at all, and that's the power of it down these straights. So here comes the Amazement, gets an alright exit through the long right-hander, but he's quite far away back, so I don't expect him to make any sort of impression on the Toro Rosso driver, but it will close up. He is closing up very quickly, but it's not enough to make a move at all. Into the braking zone for the right-hander. He's got a good run here, as the Mulder's very wide on the curb. Now through the last corner here, and Amazement needs a good exit, which he has kind of got, but it's not ideal, as looks like Mulder's got a better exit in comparison, and instead he can't make any sort of impression into turn 1, so it's not good for him. Overkill's behind. He's trying to hunt down the Amazement, and he needs to get this move done. If he wants to attack, in my opinion, he's the one that is likely to take it. Amazement pitted a lot earlier for his tyres, 2 laps older tyres in comparison to these other two. So it is going to be all about, I think, overkills in terms of tyre life towards the end of the race. Mizzy seemingly dropped off a little bit from the top 3, but not by much. He's still within DRS, but he's dropped off a little bit, so maybe made a few mistakes in that first sector. But look how close these guys are. They're so close together. 9 more laps to go in this race, and it's still not over. We don't know who's going to win this race here. Overkill's looking a lot closer to the Amazement now, so opportunity come. But again, Amazement will have DRS on Mulder. But look at this. Overkill's is right on the gearbox of the Amazement. So slipstream and DRS, but DRS will be activated for the Amazement as well. He's closing up a little bit, but not as much as he would wish to. And no opportunity as of yet as he goes through the right-hander once again. So Overkills is looking to try and get a move on here. Look at that, look at the Amazement. He's right all over the back of Mulder here. So let's go on board with the Amazement once again. He's got an alright exit through the last corner here. He's going to have the DRS and the slipstream. But he's just not closing up enough to make a move into turn 1. So he's still sticking with it. Behind, I mean, look at it. They're all closed up. They're all within half a second of each other. So it is all very close here. The Amazement's right on the back of Mulder. And Overkills is right on the back on Amazement. So it's all close here. And behind Midsley's is watching it all unfold. So it could be gold for Midsley if these three collide. So it's going to be very fascinating to see how these guys go. It has been a very clean race, a very clean battle between these three so far. But it's all set to continue for the final 8 laps of this race. A fascinating Chinese Grand Prix so far, the race of the season. But we're only round 2, of course. And you expect that any race could be the race of the season. Overkill is once again looking to get a better exit here, which he gets an alright exit in the end. He's 4/10 back on the Amazement, so it's not as close as you'd like it to be. But once again, if anything, the Overkills needs more to kind of start sprinting away from the Amazement for him to have an opportunity. Here he comes, DRS for all these 4 boys. And the Amazement's closing up on Mulder a lot now, so Mulder not looking to have the upper hand at all on the Amazement. So, needing a good exit here, which he has got a right exit, but once again to be very close indeed through the final corner. And he's got an alright exit here, so again, not the best of exit actually, indeed. He had the slipstream and the DRS, but again, turn 1 isn't really an overtaking opportunity, as now Chris gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Well, the Amazement once again closes up on Mulder, but no opportunity as of yet. He'll try and cut back and take a different line indeed. Dazzle now gets a 5th time penalty for corner cutting 2. And good exit by the Amazement, but again, just not close enough to make any sort of impression on the Toro Rosso driver. Overkill is closer to him than the Amazement is to Mulder. But I'm very surprised here. I'm very surprised that Overkill hasn't made any sort of move on the Ferrari driver. You expect him to have had a bit more pace, but the Amazement has been absolutely solid around here. He's really loved it, and he's done a great job. And now Okas was very wide there, so he needs to be careful not to extend too much, because otherwise he'll have penalties that he doesn't need at this point in this tight pack. These 4 are very much free of the Jackster, as now Mulder is starting to spin away. It's 8/10 the gap, so looking like he's starting to pull the trigger a little bit on this pack. But once again, Overkills is closer to the Amazement now, so has he got the opportunity that he needs into the right-hander? He's closing up, he's looking for a move, but is it too... it's not enough. It's not enough to do it, as Mizzy goes a bit deep on the brakes. But Overkills doesn't get the ideal exit here, so it's very... it's almost frustrating to watch, because he should have done this move by now. Mizzy gets a 3-second time penalty, so that's going to affect him. So potentially, it's not all going to be easy. Here comes Overkills though. He's right there close with the Amazement. It's so close as we head through turn 1. As we go through this long left-hander before cutting back into this next corner indeed. Has he got opportunity? No, he hasn't. But he'll try and get a better exit through this corner. He hasn't got the exit. He hasn't got a good enough exit at all. So it's not enough to make a move stick. So again, the Amazement is good in the areas that he needs to be to keep hold of that second place. He's done a solid job, a fantastic defence, and he's on the older tyres. So we'll see how it all ends. I mean, his tyres might fade on those mediums because they could fade with the older tyres. Down the order, Dazzle has closed up on the Beck and Yum. It's now 2 seconds the gap, so he has closed up on those fresher softs and obviously the softer compound. So he's got an opportunity potentially on the Toro Rosso driver. Chris is right behind ST Will, who's fizzing back from Jackson. So Jackson's been on a race on his own really, so he's done a solid job to be where he is, and he's on his own, and the battle is for the win and 6th place at the moment. But once again, the Amazement is closing up, but how close is Overkill? He's close, but it's not close enough, and he's running out of time and running out of opportunities really. Once again, through that final corner, and it needs to be a good exit. Once again, look how close these all are. These guys are so close together. The Amazement's closed up big time for turn 1. But yeah, it's all very, very close indeed. Midzy kind of backed off maybe. Maybe made a sort of small little error. But now the Amazement's right over the back of the Toro Rosso driver. Here we go, on board with him. But it's just not close enough to make a move. What about Overkills? No. So these 3 are so close. Looking like they're breaking away a little bit from Midzy. But looking like ST Will's been overtaken by Chris Packer-Jones. Well, unfortunately, we can't take our eyes off this top three battle. Here, look at that. Overkills gets a better exit through that right-hander. So, it's the Amazement who's under pressure here a little bit. Now, Overkill's going to concentrate on getting a good exit through the left-hander, the long left-hander. They need a good exit here. But bear in mind, the Amazement will have DRS on the Mulder as well. We'll keep repeating that, but it is the fact of the story that Overkills can't get it done because the Amazement's got DRS on Mulder. So here we go. Overkills in the slipstream, in the DRS. We'll be using a little bit of the battery as much as possible. He's closing up, but it's not enough, surely, into the braking zone. It's not enough. So once again, Overkills can't get this move done whatsoever. And hasn't got the exit he needs, but look at this. The Amazement, through the last corner, hasn't got the exit, but he's still there with Mulder. These two are just so close, but look at this. Look at Overkill. He's right there on the back of the Amazement. He looks to the inside, hints at it, but he can't make the move stick. Does he go on the inside? He just can't do it. It's not worth the risk. You're in a podium position, and it's looking still very good in terms of the championship for him. But Overkill's just not able to deliver it. It must be so frustrating behind the wheel to be in this situation, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in Overkill's position, you know, he can't really capitalise on Amazement's mistakes because Amazement has DRS anyway. So you know, it's double slipstream does nothing on this game. I mean, DRS in general is not very effective on F1 2018, but the slipstream in general is just a bit not the greatest. So you can imagine trying to get double slipstream is just going to be even worse. So it's all about skill right now. Who can be the best through the corners and, you know, catch up the most.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. And Overkill once again is behind again these three. I mean, now actually Mizzy's close back up again. So it just shows how much potentially Overkills might be getting held up here. Maybe Overkills is the fastest driver, but just can't get it done. As you said about the DRS, the double slipstream doesn't do anything, and even the double DRS doesn't do anything either. Maybe the DRS is just not helping the matters here, and Amazement just sticking there with Mulder. He's doing the job that he needs to do because he's just keeping all that second place and just defending well. He's defended well. He's raced well. Arguably, he's probably my driver of the day in terms of racing. He's done a superb job. How close he gets to Mulder there through that second corner. But Overkill gets a really rough exit here. But obviously Mizzy can't, it's not trusting to capitalise at all. But no, Mizzy, Amazement and Mulder, they're the closest bunch here. But the final few laps now of this race, and it is all starting to wrap up now, and it's running out of time for Overkill to make a move. Maybe it's just time to focus on the Amazement in his battle with Mulder. Remember, bear in mind, 2 laps of the tyres for the Amazement, so that could come into effect towards the end. But super pace by the Amazement. Now through the long right-hander once again, and let's see what the Amazement can do. He's in the slipstream, he's in the DRS of the Toro Rosso driver, and here he goes in the slipstream, in the DRS. He's closing back up, but is it enough? It's probably not enough to make any sort of impression into the braking zone, so you need to focus on getting a good exit. His yellow flags are into the 3. I wonder what that's for. Now look at that, Amazement gets a good exit through the right-hander, now into the last corner. Now he's got a good exit here, so this is an opportunity for the Amazement. Does he want this race when he's closing up on the Toro Rosso driver? Goes to the left-hand side. He's going to go around the outside of the Toro Rosso driver. Is he, though? Around the outside of him. He's going to continue around the outside. And he goes round the outside into this corner. But he can't get the move done at all. His tyres potentially have aged, so he couldn't get that move done. But he'll get an alright exit here. So can he close up on the exit? He's closing and closing and closing, but doesn't close up enough at all and doesn't get the move done. So nothing yet for the Amazement, but that was heart in the mouth moments for the Mulder, because that could have been the race lead taken away from him, and we know how hard it is to overtake in the DRS and the slipstream. But Overkill fancies his chances on the Amazement as well, and it looks like the Amazement might be struggling on his tyres now. So here comes Overkill as he cuts back on the Ferrari driver. He gets an alright exit, so he needs to focus on getting the exit he needs through the long right-hander. And he needs this long right-hander to be absolutely superb for him. He's got an alright exit, but again, this we've seen in the past, this double slipstream, the double DRS does not do anything. And Overkills is in the slipstream, but it's just not going to be enough down the straight at all to make any sort of impression. And he can't get the move done whatsoever. So Overkills, again, not able to make the move at all.
Yeah, I think it might be something to do with setup as well. I mean, I think Overkills might have a setup that's more towards sector 1 and 2, whereas Amazement has a setup that's favoured towards sector 3. But yeah, I'm quite surprised. I think someone, either Amazement or Overkills, need to be more aggressive and just get the job done. I can pick a couple of times where either two could have got the job done on Mulder or in Overkill's position on Amazement. Yeah, I could have picked a couple of times where they could have got the job done, but they're just being a bit too cautious, and that's all well and good, but sometimes you've got to seize the moment a bit and just kind of, take the opportunity as it comes, because you'll get in this position where you can't get past, and your race is ruined then.
Once again, look at that. Overkill's right there with the Amazement, and the Amazement right there with Mulder. So once again, it's going to be a last kind of gasp for the Overkill. He's closer to the Amazement, looking like the Amazement might be starting to struggle in his older tyres. So here comes Overkill's in the slipstream and the DRS, but once again, is it enough to close up? He's closing a slight bit, but it's just not enough. He's eating up on the gap, but it's not enough. And now Mulder has gone very deep, and the Amazement's been caught up slightly by that, but again, because the way it concertinas, it doesn't do anything. So through the final corner, and we're starting to start the final lap of this race. Who is going to win this fascinating Chinese Grand Prix? These four, and look at that, Mizzy's right behind them, is last lap, last gasp for all these boys here. So Mulder, he leads currently into the first couple of corners for the final time, and it's all about, can he get this one done? Indeed, Dazzle gets a finishing time penalty. He's in 9th place. He's close to Beck and Yum, but that's not our focus for now. Is this focus for the race lead here in China? Can Mulder keep this under control? He finishes the first sector for the final time. Look at behind. Look at Overkill. He's really attacking hard. He's looking like the Amazement is starting to struggle a little bit, so Mulder might be able to breathe a little bit, but Mulder is still under pressure. It's not all over until it's over. And look at Overkills. He's right there with the Amazement through the double left-handers for the final time. And he needs to get a good exit if he wants a second. He's gone very wide indeed. He's absolutely just bottles the exit. But he should be okay for the podium at the moment, because Mizzy has a penalty, bear in mind. So through the long right-hander for the final time, it's setting up for the final back straight. Who can all these boys keep their head? It looks like Mulder is going to have the race lead and the race win done and dusted. But it's all about Overkills now. Can he get the move done on the Amazement? Is he going to make this one stick? He's closing up, but it's not enough in the slipstream and the DRS at all. And he can't do it whatsoever. So let's go back to our race leader through the final couple of turns. And through the final corner he comes. What a battle, what a race, and what a victory. It's redemption day for Mulder. He wins in Australia, in China, and it's Amazement in second place. Overkills in third, Mizzy in fourth in the end. And the Jackster comes home in fifth place. A very lonely race for him, but he'll take that result, and a great race by him. Will in sixth, Amazement, Chris Packer joins in seventh. The Bacon Yum comes home in eighth place. He'll be pretty disappointed with that, I think. And Bedazzle does close up in the end, but it isn't enough to get past and make more ground up. And it comes home with 2 points for Sauber. Flying Rosie gets the final point, as Dazzler had penalties. Antiv Beacon is going to come around the final corner to finish in 12th place, ahead of F1 Maestro, who will be absolutely disappointed and gutted, but he does finish the race, which is great to see. Ginger Ninja in 14th place. Minty in 15th, Jamie in 16th. He'll be disappointed because he was running really well. And Catherine will finish the race once again, like she did in Australia, but won't get any points, unfortunately. So unfortunately for her, she did an alright job. Brings it home, but probably wanted a little bit better than 17th place. But Well, a cracking race and a thorough well done to Mulder in the end. And for me, driver of the day must go to the amazement. His consistent battles, his just hard fought battles, very clean. All those guys did a superb job. But for me, driver of the day, I must give it to the amazement in terms of battles. But fantastic job by Mulder to just try and win the race, and a redemption day for him after what happened in Australia. Second different winner of the season out of two, and right again, Dazzler, Overkill's in third place, another podium, and he'll keep hold of the championship lead. And he's doing what he needs to do, but this is a very competitive field, and it's all to play for. But Ben, take us through our classification.
As we wait, there we go. Right, so here we are then. LCR Mulder wins the Grand Prix here, and with the amazement taking second place away from Overkills, who finishes in third place in McLaren. Midzi closely behind in fourth, Jaxa in fifth, Will in sixth place, Chris Jones in seventh, Bacon Young in eighth, Dazzle in ninth, Flying Rozzy in 10th, and Dazzler in 11th, Anthony Beacon in 12th, F1 Maestro getting 13th place, probably not the best result for him, Ginger Ninja in 14th, Minty in 5th, Jamie in 16th, and Catherine in 17th, with Josu in 18th.
And you don't remember the rest. Kaiser, I think he was in 19th. Yeah, they were two retired. Yeah, Kaiser and somebody else as well. But we'll invite the top three to the party, and I'll let you do the podium interviews, and I'll just save my voice. Let me get Mulder in. Where's Mulder? Where is he? There he is. And Overkills. Right, I've invited them. I'll do it again. Right, mate.
Good evening. Aye. I'll wait for Mulder to say he ain't got a mic. You know what? I don't think he does. You know what? Oh, maybe it does. There we go.
Make sure you include your audio, boys, and I'll let Ben do the podium interviews.
Yay. Oh.
Damn it! You called it, Ben. Doesn't have a mic. Okay. Mulder, if you want to prepare do it by text, and do like a race rundown, Mulder, in text, and we'll read it out on the stream. So Ben, if you want to go through the amazement and Overkills, and then we'll potentially wait for Mulder with his message.
Yeah, absolutely. So there we go. I had to think there. Amazement, great race. Interestingly enough, much better pace it seemed than Mulder in terms of, even with the 2-lap older tyres. But then Overkills seemed to be a little bit quicker, but Slipstream wasn't able to take place. What do you think about that result? Satisfied with that?
Yeah, sort of. A bit annoying because first was there, but I just couldn't overtake. And when I did, it wasn't quite enough, and I just couldn't get out of turn 12. So I don't know what the problem was there, but it was good. Better than Australia. That was a nightmare. But it's good going forward.
You sound a bit unsure. Do you feel maybe those times where you could have been a bit more aggressive, a bit more defensive?
Possibly, but it's still good. I didn't get taken out. I didn't take myself out. I mean, it was a good battle. I mean, after the pit stops, that was quite tough because I had cars either side of me, like going three wide in certain corners. That weren't that fun because I didn't want to crash anyone off. But no, glad we all made it through. So it was alright. Second's good. Good points.
Obviously, going into the next round because
Bahrain.
let me get that. Bahrain, is it Bahrain? Okay, Bahrain.
Yep.
That's it. Going into Bahrain then. A bit weird that one. What are your expectations for that? Obviously, you're a pad player, so
I am. It should suit me a little bit more, but I don't think I'll be as good. So hopefully top 6, top 5 maybe. That's what I can hope for. But I don't know what anyone's pace is going to be till you get to it. I hadn't a clue what anyone was going to be like going into this race. So quite happy. I thought I'd be top 5, so quite happy with how it's panned out. So it's Bahrain. I'm happy enough.
Well, once again, you did a great job. Pretty sure you're our driver of the day.
Oh, go
This
on.
race. But we shall see. Well, hope to see you back on the podium next week. Of kills if you're there.
I am.
Right. Well, we'll do your interview and then we'll read Mulder out at the end. Surely, not quite satisfied with that result. Obviously, lost out in the pits. It seemed lost out big time. And it was kind of a catch-up game after that, and then obviously slipstream's not very effective when you're in the double slipstream. But just talk us through your race as a whole.
Yeah, just not happy with my performance tonight. Got a bad start, which made me lose 2 positions. That's not good. Nearly lost one to 5th as well. So wasn't looking good from the start, and then clawed my way back up a little bit. Found myself in the battle back at the front, which is where I needed to be. And then lost out in the pit stops again. Had to claw my way back towards the top, but then just double slipstream, double DRS, couldn't get past. So yeah, just a little bit disappointed tonight.
We noticed you was much better on your tyres than the people around you. Any reason for that? You got some sort of hack going on, or is it just completely down to driver style?
I don't think driver style. I had a problem with that. I think my tyre pressure is quite low, so maybe that helped with it. But yeah, I have no idea how others went. So
obviously, going into Bahrain, are you hoping to claw back the missed opportunity you got today?
Yep, I'll be trying my best in that. I need to make some more points up, extend that gap a bit more, because I know Mould will be breathing down my neck quite soon. So yeah, just hoping for a good one there.
Well, we'll be looking forward to seeing you next week. Hopefully, we'll see you on the top step. Mulder then. Right. So Mulder sent. Start was good, and behind me were some good battles, so could create a gap. Then after the pit stops, I just came ahead of the Amazement, but these mediums were so cold. We had a great battle, but slipstream doesn't really work, so I just had to stay ahead. Due to the Amazement overkills, the pace from overkills was insane at the end of the soft stint. Your quote from your race winner today, and I shall hand it back to Dom.
Awesome job, lads. Great racing. It was good to commentate over. I mean, that was a great show, and I hope everybody enjoyed it on the stream. And we'll get it uploaded to my YouTube channel later on. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed that. A great battle, and this shows how tight things are in terms of pace-wise in the field once again. So we'll go to the next race in Bahrain next week, and hopefully we'll see more of the same. Obviously, got a long straight there as well. So It's gonna be fascinating to see what happens in Bahrain, and can we go for three different winners and 3 different races there? Potentially, they are an ideal situation to happen. So that is it for your stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll check you next week from Bahrain. See you later.